Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to start our little twin radio exercise. First a little FM radio, which is fairly unique. We're just going to see what's wrong and fix him up. And the other one will be the old Chrysler as described in the previous video. But first we'll have a look at this little fella. He's a very interesting little radio. The switch is dirty, scan switch is dirty. The lips don't move properly on this little fella. So we'll open him up and see what's behind here. Also, the volume control, very tight, almost jammed, and it was scratchy. So we'll get into this fella without further ado and get the video going. Little screw in the back there for the battery compartment. And we have 3 AA's. Not a good thing to keep these batteries in a radio for sure. I don't know how long these would have been in there. Possibly a long time. Now, taking him apart, looks like 4 screws, which shouldn't be much of a challenge. This is probably a fairly quick video for you guys. The lengthy one will be the Chrysler. It's valve radio, and we're going to fully restore him if possible. This one is sort of a just get going type video. It's not a resurrection and not really a restoration. So we're just going to try and work out what's wrong, get him going the best he can. And the screw doesn't want to come out. Right. Here we go. Okay. Here's the mechanism. A little motor that moves the lips on a bit of string. That's about all there is to it. Now, I'll be running this off my power supply. Just going to unsolder these two so I can put 4.5 volts into the radio. I will current limit it at 100 milliamps just to make sure. I've got it set on 4.5 volts. I short the leads together and set the current to 100 mil. Okay, that on the back here, we know that's plus, but I'll just scratch a little plus in there so that we know that the red wire goes on him. I'm not real sure about our lighting here. Hopefully this is light enough for you guys. We have a strange arrangement with the antenna. A coil, actually a coil of wire, possibly a sort of a loading coil to the antenna. Sort of haven't seen that done, but that comes down to the antenna connector there. Obviously it's a 1-chip radio. There's probably not much to it. And we're going to see whether this little fellow actually works. Very interesting mechanism there, the way he moves to do the lips. Now, the volume control is it is free, so obviously it's where it goes in the case it's been catching. Okay, put some power on. Turn him on. Radio. And we don't we might need a little bit more than 100 milliamp, but we don't have any action. Let's see what we can work out here. Ground is to there, which is correct. We don't have any audio. We have 4.5 volts and a current of nothing. Absolutely no current, no light. Right. We're connected to the switch. Hang on a minute here. Now we might have something. No. We have a slight click. Hang on. We're away.
Committed to the project. Creating a very fast rail network has been a very slow process. First proposed in
we have him going.
1984.
If we click this over to motion,
to the way that we reduce our climate change emissions and to the way
we
that our
actually
regions develop.
have a bit of action happening here.
In 2011, when he was Transport Minister, we also heard from former Coalition Prime
It's
Minister
pretty cool.
John Howard. So how realistic is the prospect
So
of
that's
fast rail links
how
between
he
Sydney and
works.
Melbourne,
A piece
or
of
Brisbane
string
and Canberra?
on a motor.
Professor Andrew McNaughton is the chairman of Network Rail
Now
High-Speed
this
Limited
wasn't
in the
working.
UK and a professorial fellow at the University of Southampton.
That's
4
actually
years ago,
pulling
he delivered a feasibility study to the New South Wales
quite a lot on
government.
that.
People in the past have been, I think, focusing too much on technology and speed.
That's pretty cool.
Making it sound
That is really cool.
high tech. The key to
Right.
successful fast
We'll
or high speed rail.
move along and
You
we
mentioned earlier,
don't
Lucy,
want to.
that you had preconceptions about who Catherine the Great was, and I think it's probably fair to say that most people will have heard the name, have some sort of sense
Yes.
of
Seems
who
to be
Catherine
working.
the Great might have been. But
Okay.
I wonder if you
I'm
could
going to turn the
give us
lips
your
off. Now, what I want to do is clean this switch, clean these fellas if possible, clean the radio up, and we'll put him back together. I don't think there's a real lot to do here. Maybe one of these wires that goes to the motor was obstructing the string on the lips as to why it didn't work. Anyway, we'll take the power off him and remove the circuit board so we can get at the switches underneath and give them a clean. I'll be using contact cleaner. I don't use WD-40 or anything like that, so just a standard contact cleaner. Looks like 3 screws with this, I think. Right. No, doesn't. Oh yeah, there he goes. Okay. So that's all that's in him. The motor, which is the 2 black wires here, goes to a couple of little transistors here. That this looks like it's modulated from maybe the audio circuit here. But there's a driver and output on the audio side. That is probably just modulating those transistors to give the motor its pulses to make it talk. Okay. Take him off and we'll put some contact cleaner into this switch and brush him up. Now we do have another IC under here, which that might be the audio chip. Yes, I'd say it is. We have the audio IC, then we had that capacitor, which is actually the coupling cap to the speaker. So, yes, this is our audio side. This may be control for the motor. Not sure, but not going to look that far into it. Anyway, this little fella's not worth that. Now, the audio output chip is a CHM. Oh, CHM C08, whatever that is. There is another number on it, which is that's probably more the number, D2822. So the audio output chip, its number is a D2822. There we go. There's the output chip and associated motor drivers over on this side. I would think, I'm not going to look for a circuit. This little radio is not worth this, but I'll be cleaning this switch near my thumb and the two momentary switches above it, which is scan and seek or something like that. Yeah, so that's what we'll be doing. We'll also give the volume pot a little bit of a squirt and a tiny little bit of, I can get this in the right spot. Sorry for making you all seasick. It's a different camera. That one, just put a little bit of oil just down on the bearing of the motor there, just to keep him freed up. All right, we'll do this and see how we go. A little bit of our contact cleaner, and he should be away. I will also put some around the switches. Now, the pot, a little bit hard to get into there. I am going to take the knob off the pot. We'll lift the dust cover just a little bit of spray in there. And he needs a dab. Put him back on. Put this fella back on. And certainly you do not over tighten those little screws. This fella's a little bit dusty around the edges. I am going to clean this up a lot better than what it is. So I'll just clean this fella before I put him back in. Now for all my cleaning, a squirt on a cotton bud. Clean him up. This little radio will be just put in my collection of unusual radios in the vintage section, but just unusual stuff. There's nothing special about it. Push that wire down so he doesn't foul. Switch on. Push him back in there like so. Right. That feels good. A good solid click. And it looks as though it's jammed over there, so I've put him on and missed. That must have fallen forward, and I've missed the switch indent at the back. Okay, so I won't cut this out. This is what happens when we're fixing radios, because you might do this and this may help someone. No, it hasn't, but maybe that little capacitor there was catching him, because that's in the center. We'll try that again. Only this time, we might check the operation before we screw him down, eh? Yeah, that's better. Must have been that a little electrolytic capacitor there just catching the side of him. It's strange when you go to screw a screw in here, you can't get it to go when there's a camera there. But yet, you do it every day of the week and it's never a problem, isn't it? Always the way. Okay, we'll just make it a little bit neater coil there on the aerial. And push him down a little bit out of the road there. Now, I think a lot of the trouble here was these wires. So I would like to naturally tie them a little bit over this side, get them out of the road so they don't go over here and foul the mechanism. Speaker wire, tuck him in there. Everything else is tucked in. Now to do this, I'm just going to get a very small piece of, to put that fella on, of gaffer. Get a little bit of gaffer here, and I'm going to set that fella down there so he doesn't want to move. Don't press too hard so the wiring actually pierces the insulation on the wires. So, yeah, just a word of advice. There's an LED there that's got very long leads on him. I'm just going to trim him off. Now I'm going to put another little bit of tape just across there so it holds the black wires away there. Now, I'm not really thinking that you guys have got one of these radios. Yeah, then I wouldn't think they'd be a very popular radio. So there he is, ready to go back together. We'll try him out, make sure everything is working. Now, if I can just get my alligator clip a little bit nicer here. And
constantly throughout the day.
That's working very well, actually. And we'll put motion on. And look at that. And he's singing away there, so...
The travelling population at risk. It also, of course, has implications for the economy more broadly, the Chinese economy, the global economy, and therefore the Australian
that's working
economy.
pretty well.
The Treasurer is standing by his government's decision to overrule the Chief Medical Officer's advice by imposing testing requirements on travellers from China before they board their flight. In a letter dated December 31 and released overnight, Professor Paul Kelly
That's
tells
pretty cool.
Minister Mark Butler
I really
there is
like
not a
that.
sufficient public health rationale for renewed COVID-19 screening because of Australia's high levels of vaccination and immunity.
Actually, this little radio has so intrigued me as to what made the mechanism actually work. And, well, there he is. Milliamps. Yeah, well, it's drawing about 200 there when the motor's pulling on that. So, yeah, it'll be pretty hard on batteries. And there's no external power for this either. So, yeah, you'd want to really like the radio with the lips moving to keep buying batteries for it. But anyway, there he is. Turn him off, and let's put a drip of oil on the motor. Now, the motor, I put a little drop of oil on the end of a cotton bud. Yeah, well, try to get a drop of oil and then just put him in there. That's all he needs. Just a little drop.
China is they are not genome sequencing the virus to the level that is
And
really,
there he is,
necessary given the
working
number of infections
nicely.
they're getting. So one of the great success stories of COVID has been that we can get the sequence of the virus so quickly.
Okay,
And that gives us really
that's it,
important
guys.
information
We'll
about,
put him back together now,
what
and
the variant is, who's
give
to
him a little
who,
bit of a clean,
are the
and
particular
I'd say this job's finished.
hotspots of
I didn't want
transmission.
this
We
to
can
be
map
a long
time
video on this
manner.
one,
I think
so
it's critical
there he
that we
is.
now build on the
We'll
success that
call him
and establish a
complete
global
and working. Okay. Now, when we're putting this one back together, just want to keep an eye on that volume control and see. It's still hitting there now, and he's actually hitting on that little bracket that holds the motor on there. Maybe we can turn him a little bit sideways, like so. That doesn't hit now. Right, now that's not hitting anything. Still holding the motor nicely in place. See how he goes on. Still rubbing. A little bit up, a little bit easier. Right, let's see how he goes there. That's not too bad, actually. As I said, that motor's drawing up to 200 milliamps, and probably the batteries wouldn't last a hell of a long time when you've got his lips moving all the time. Okay, we have 1.5, which is very good. We have 1.56, that's very good, and we have 1.56. So we have 3 good batteries. Turn him up a bit.
Triple J.
And
Counting while I run the tap. But analysts
and he all seems to be going nicely.
Was Regal Warrior and Quasi Girl.
Economist Anne Flaherty says the losses were felt most acutely in Australia's capital
And
cities.
his lips are...
What would generally happen that day represents just one more injustice in a battle she has been fighting for decades. NPR's Miguel Macias had the chance to talk with her, and he brings us this story.
The relationship between Morocco and Spain is
complicated. There's our little radio. He's a nice little fella. Looked good in my vintage cabinet, I guess, as probably only as a talking point. Little aerial, yeah, not the best performer. FM. I'm in the workshop, but then again, it's not real good reception in here. But anyway, apparently these are known as a Premiere radio. But yeah, any comments, most welcome. Okay, we'll call this one a wrap. Let's move on to the next video, which is our Chrysler vintage unit. Well, guys, that little video went a little bit longer than I expected. So rather than try and jam everything onto one long video, I'm going to call this quits for now for this video. And probably tomorrow or the next day, the Chrysler will be up, the second part of it. You'll probably notice on some of the footage that there's some writing back the front on the little radio. We reversed the camera, not realizing that the camera was actually upside down where it was mounted. So sorry about that. If the writings are a little bit non-understandable on the radio itself, you may have noticed it. You probably did. But anyway, that's just how it worked out. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this little fill-in video on a little unique transistor radio. So until very shortly, it's bye for now.